Hi guys, I'm John. I'm here to do a 5-minute review of Nicky Drayden's Escaping Exodus. I got this book for free from the publishers for the purpose of review, so let's get this started. This is the second book by this author I have read. I previously read The Prey of Gods by her. I also read her anthology, I guess, her Guilds of Ravnica books that she wrote as a tie-in for the Magic the Gathering setting for Wizards of the Coast. So you can say I'm a fan. But I want to give a glowing review, but I can only give a pretty good review. The story has some problems. If I was to give it a grade, I'd say it's recommended, but with reservations. It definitely does have a target audience that will like this book quite a lot. I'll basically describe who I think that target audience would be. In this case, if you like settings that are really interesting, this is a science fiction book. So if you like science fiction books with really interesting settings, biologically based sci-fi instead of like physics-based sci-fi, you'd probably be interested. If you like books with very little violence, check this out. If you want a unreliable narrator, check this out. If you want a sociological sci-fi book, check this out. But if you want a fast-paced book, maybe avoid. Maybe make this a low priority. If you want a book with like a flawless book, if you want something like really high quality, I want to nominate something for a Hugo. Maybe not this one. It has a lot of literary problems. Like if I'm going to be a nitpicker, and I love being a nitpicker, this book has problems. Of course, I love being a nitpicker. I'm writing a review right now. We're making a review right now. So let's get started. What is Escaping Exodus about? Well, to start with, I need to start with a setting, because this book is all about the setting. In this case, mankind has fled several thousand years ago. Mankind fled Earth because something happened there, and it's no longer livable, apparently. And now the survivors have moved into spacefaring giant alien squids. They have built their houses inside the guts of these spacefaring animals. They're like literally giant animals floating in space, and mankind has moved into like their intestines and is now using them as habitable space because that's a thing apparently. And now like generations and generations and generations have passed. Society has gotten real damn weird, and we have two heroes. We have Seske and we have Adala. Now, what you have to understand about this setting is that they're in love. They're two girls, but that's like normal in this setting. You have, well, I'll just come out and say it. All relationships are polyamorous, and like they're not really based on love, as far as I can tell. It's kind of like political alliances, but with like marriages consisting of like 10 women and 8 men per like marriage, which is a bit weird. I don't quite understand. Well, there's a lot that you don't understand because the author doesn't explain a lot about their culture. You kind of just have to buy it. Yeah, I'll just move on. So we have two characters, Seske and Adala. Seske is the princess of the civilization. She's in love with Adala, who's a laborer in the civilization. Adala's job is to go into this animal's guts, and kind of remodel it. You can say she's like a contractor, a laborer who like remodels buildings, except in this case she remodels the anatomy of this animal that they live inside by using a knife and like doing surgery inside this animal, which is interesting, really cool detail. I'm running out of time. Okay, so I'll move on to the conclusions. The pacing wasn't so hot. It was slow in the beginning. It was way too slow in the beginning. It sped up a little, but it never was fast. It was a steady clip later on. It needed to be faster for me to really like it a lot more. Part of the reason why it wasn't very fast was because this isn't like a guns blazing, sword fights, science fiction fantasy book. The author focused more on plot, was focused more on characterization, focused more on world building as compared to like bombs blowing up and shooting guns. So that's right out there. That's partly why it's slow, is because, quite frankly, not much action happens. Then we also have the plot, which is another problem. Like, well, I like the different plot points. there were like 8 or 9 different plot points, plot arcs, individual plot arcs, and like only 2 or 3 got resolution by the end of the book, so we were left with a lot of hanging threads. Perhaps that means that the author wants to do a sequel. I don't know. But right now, we are left with 5 uncompleted plot arcs. That's a problem. I like my books to be finished. I'm really running out of time because it's more than 5 minutes now. Well, it has to be a little bit longer anyway. And let's see what else. Let me check my notes. I like the themes. The author did a good job of adding some themes to this book. Of basically, humankind are parasites in this book, and that was used as a metaphor for environmentalism. Like humankind were parasites of the space alien guts inside the fantasy story or the science fiction story, whereas on Earth we are destroying our world and we're parasites in the world and kind of ruining it and killing it. It's a nice metaphor. There are some other metaphors and themes that the author used that were really well done. Yeah. Now, net total, this is a flawed book. I can't get over the fact that the pacing was slow. I kind of got bored at points. And I can't get over the fact that there were not resolution for all the plot arcs. I liked for me though, overall, I had a fun time reading it. This will probably be in the top 10 books that I read for the year, and so far I'm at like 80 or 90 books read for the year. But I can't, in good faith, just blindly recommend it to everyone because this book definitely has flaws. So, recommended with reservations. It is a recommended, but like not for everyone. As I mentioned, if you want a book about a really gross setting where people live inside the guts of another animal, go have at it. It's a sci-fi book that a lot of sci-fi purists would probably like. And that's it. Have a nice day.